Okay, so this first topic is estimation. To be honest, it doesn't really have anything to do with the rest of the unit, but it's mostly about thinking logically. Okay, so I want to review something called compatible numbers. So those are numbers that can easily be divided mentally. So numbers that can easily be divided mentally. So what we mean by divided mentally is numbers like 25 and 5, right? So we can divide 25 and 5 pretty easily, hopefully, mentally. But now, what if we get into numbers like 510 or 1680? Okay, so we want to make them numbers that could easily be divided mentally. So pretty much as estimation sounds, we're just rounding everything to simplifiable numbers, okay? So I want you to read number 1 for a moment. Okay, so whenever it says the closest estimation, the closest number, that always means that we're estimating. We don't need to find an exact number. We just need to find a close number. So the first thing I'm going to do is round all of these numbers to easy numbers, okay? So I would round this 6,804 to 7,000. I'm going to round this 3,958 to 4,000. And because I rounded these two up, I'm actually going to round this one down to 4,000 as well. Okay, so I'm going to add all of that up, and I get 15,000. So that's the number of tickets sold. Okay, so that's the number of tickets sold. Okay. Now we need to estimate the price. So the price was $19. I'm going to round that to about $20. And we want to figure out the price in total. So we want to figure out our total price. So what that means is we're going to take this 15,000 and multiply it by 20. Okay, now I know 15 times 2 is 30. And then since we have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, I'm just going to add them at the end. So my answer is $300,000. Okay, so my answer is C. So again, we're rounding these numbers to things that we could easily mentally divide or multiply. So again, I just looked at 15 and 2, said that that was 30, and since I had extra zeros, I just added those on. Okay, so let's look at number 2. So let's look at number 2. Okay, so take a moment to read that. Take a moment. Okay, so we want to now figure out the closest, which we said meant that we were estimating. Okay, but we need to figure out, what does this word per mean? Anybody remember what the word per means? So per means division. So per means division. Okay, and we want to figure out the number of people per square mile. Okay, so I'm going to round the number of people. So the number of people is this number. I'm going to round that to it's not going to really make sense, but I'm going to round it to 36,000. I'm going to round it to 36,000. Okay. Now, I'm going to round this 59 to 60. So that's why I rounded this 35 up to 36,000, because I can easily divide 36,000 by 60 to get 600. Okay. So I'm trying to get numbers that are easily multiplied or easily divided. Okay, and I knew that 36,000 was on top because that was the number of people per square mile. So I had to do people over mile. So that's why the answer is D. Okay, I want you to try example 3. Again, you're trying to get easy numbers. Okay, so try example 3. Okay, so hopefully you got somewhere around $4 for example 3. So I have all my work here. So I rounded this 21 to 20 bucks, rounded 5 1/3 to 5. Okay. If you rounded them up, that's okay. It just wouldn't give you an easy number to divide. But so just be really careful there. And again, it's cost per yard. Hence why cost is on top and yard is on bottom. So now let's go on to the next one. So I want you to try example 4 now. So I want you to look over at example 4 and try to do this one. I'm just going to put the answer. I'm not going to put the work there. Okay, so pause and try example. Okay, so hopefully for example 4, you got 60. Okay, so now for example 5, I want you to take a moment and read that. Really try to ingest what it's saying. So I want to give you some hints. You want to figure out day passes and week passes and add that up. So I really want you to try number 5. So I want you to try number 5, and when you unpause, all of my work will be there. So I really want you to see how far you can get on your own and then go back and check and see. Okay, so I set up a little table to kind of help me organize my information. So again, I put it into day passes and week passes. I had to figure out how much money that each pass costs and how much each pass was sold for the total amount of money paid. Okay, so again, you can be liberal with your rounding. It's okay. It's not an exact science. So whatever you rounded to, I'm sure was fine, as long as you got somewhere around 350,000. Okay, so once I multiplied these, then I added them up and got my total. Okay, so you need to just be really careful about that. This is a section that people either really get or they really don't. If you're a little iffy on rounding and you're like, what I'm rounding to isn't getting me the same numbers, just really try to find those compatible numbers, and I'm sure you will be fine then. Okay, so if you're thinking, why did I round to this? Or why did Miss Myers, round to those numbers? Simply because I was looking for compatible numbers. That's why I rounded this 4,432 up to 5,000. I just want easy numbers. If you rounded it down to 4,000, that's okay. Your answer would have been a little less, and then again, we're going for the closest estimate. So then you would pick the closest one to your answer. Okay, so just deep breaths and everything will be great with this one, okay?